Hello everyone and welcome back to Jacqs Crafts. Thanks for joining me today. I have a design team project for Country Craft Creations and I'll be using their exclusive collection called Our Graduate. And I was inspired by another crafter to create this project for my niece who is going to be graduating this year from high school, and I thought this would be a really fun gift. So let's find out what it is. So here is my project share for today. This is a pop-up cube gift box. You may have seen this before. It's a lot of fun with a surprise inside. But let me talk a little bit first about the design. The box itself is 3 1/4 inches wide by 5 7/8 inches long and has a 1 1/8 inch wide. It has a wrap cover, and then there is a sliding drawer on the inside. Now I've created the drawer where it has like this little notch so that you could easily pull this out, and then you will find the surprise. But on the front here, I just want to mention that I did add one of the cut aparts that says congratulations. I put that up on foam dot and then added some little glitter flowers that I had in my stash, and I layered the top piece on some glitter cardstock that I had. Now let's find out what the surprise is. So I'm going to turn this and open it up. And there it is, our little cubes. So here is the drawer. I did add some decorative paper to the inside. Now you could, if you wanted to, add decorative paper all the way around, but I just put it on the inside and then the ends of the box. And I provide all the measurements to create this project in a tutorial following this portion of the video. So these are my little pop-up cubes. So as you can see, they lay perfectly flat, and then they pop up once the drawer is pulled, which is a really fun design. And I think, you know, a graduate would really enjoy something a little bit fun. Now, when I give this to my niece, I may add some confetti in there, and I will also be adding like dollar bills in between each of the cubes. So I'll kind of layer it. I'll have a cube, some dollar bills, another cube, and some more dollar bills, and then add my next one on there. I didn't do that for this demonstration, but that's what I'll be doing when I present it to her. And then you just lay all of your cubes into the box, hold it down, and then push it into the wrap. Really, really fun. Now you can have more than 3. I only had a certain amount of photos that I wanted to use, and so that's why I only created 3 cubes. But let me just go through them real quickly on what I did. I used the decorative paper to add to 2 sides of the cube. Here I added some of the cut apart pieces on this side, and then I have photos of my niece on the other 2 sides. So it's a nice little break there in between. Our graduates, more cut aparts there. And right here is a cut apart. Really cute. Okay, so that is my project for today. Just something really simple and fun, and will make a great impact on whoever receives it. So now we're going to move on into the tutorial for those that can follow along, and for those that can't, thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. So now let's get started with creating our pop-up cube gift box. To create the box for this project, we're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. One will be the box bottom, and this will measure 7 7/8 by 5 1/8. The sleeve for the box will measure 9 1/8 by 5 7/8. We're going to do some scoring, and we're going to start with our box bottom, and that is the smallest of the 2 pieces that we just cut. And what we're going to do is score 1 inch all the way around. So it doesn't matter which side you start on, just score 1 inch. Rotate, score at 1 inch, rotate, 1 inch, and rotate. For the sleeve, let's put this in with the 9 1/8 inches across the top, and we're going to score at 1 1/8. So 1 1/8, 4 3/8, 5 1/2, and 8 3/4. Staying with the sleeve, let's fold on all of our score lines. Keeping our last little tab folded over, we're going to add glue to the outside. Now we'll take the flap on the left-hand side and fold this over flat, matching these two sides up and then burnishing down. And when you pop that back up like this, it will create a sleeve to go over our box bottom. For the box bottom, we're going to do a little cutting. We're going to start on one of the long sides. We'll come to our first score line, and we're going to cut straight up to the first score line going horizontal. I'm going to repeat that on the next score line. Cut straight in to the first horizontal score line and then do a diagonal cut. Let's turn this around and repeat that on the other side. Now what we want to do is bring out a punch, or if you have a thumb punch, we're going to need that. And on either end, on the short side, we're going to find the center or thereabouts and go in and make a notch. Now we can fold and burnish on all of our score lines. Now we're going to take one of our end flaps, we're going to fold in the two little tabs, and we're going to add adhesive to the outside. We're going to bring these up and in, and then bring the two sides together. And now on the other end, we're going to do the same. Add our adhesive, fold this up, and bring these two sides together, kind of squaring that off. And that is our box bottom. So to show you how the two go together, we have our sleeve, we take our box bottom, and this slides in, and the notch allows it more easily to be opened. Okay, very nice. To decorate the sleeve, you'll need a 3 by 5 5/8 inch piece for the top and the bottom. If you're going to do a 1/8 of an inch border all the way around, which is what I'm doing, and then on the sides, 7/8 by 5 5/8, and you'll need 2 of those as well. Now, if you want to add a decorative piece to the inside of your box bottom, you can add a piece with a 1/8 of an inch border that is 2 7/8 by 5 5/8. I don't think you need to decorate the sides of the box, but if you feel so moved, it is 7/8 by 5 5/8. Now for my box and sleeve, I'm not going to be decorating this with you. You will have seen what I've done in the reveal. To create the pop-up boxes, we're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 8 1/4 by 7 1/2. With the 8 1/4 inch across the top, we're going to score at 2 3/4. And 5 1/2. Rotate your cardstock one time, and then we're going to score at 2 3/4. 3 1/2, 4 1/4, and 7. Repeat those same score lines on your second piece. With our cardstock scored, now we're going to do some cutting. We're going to cut out 3 boxes on the left and right hand side of our cardstock. So we want our cardstock facing us where you have the 3 smallest boxes along the bottom. You're going to go on the left hand side, we're going to cut on our first score line that's going vertical. We're going to cut that through 3 boxes. So through this one, straight up the next one, and straight up. And we're going to stop at the 3rd horizontal score line, okay? So I'm cutting up and stopping at the 3rd horizontal score line. I'm going to turn this to the side, and then I'm going to cut this part off. Let's do that to the other side. Cut straight up. Turn it on the side and then cut straight across. So we end up with our piece looking like that. And repeat this on your second piece. Now that we have our 2 pieces like this, the next thing we need to do is go to the right hand side, the first score line going down, this point on the end, we want to connect with the first score line at the top and create a diagonal cut. So it would be like that. Same with over here. We want to go from this score line here at this point on the outside, cut diagonal to the other score line point on the outside. So we're kind of cutting off the corners. Now you could use your ruler and a pencil and draw a line, and then use your hand scissors to cut that off. I'm just going to use my little cutter here. I'm going to line these points up on the blade and then cut them. And I'll show you in a moment what that looks like. Okay, so as you can see, I just cut from the score line to score line, cut that corner off. So we'll repeat that again on the other side. And then you want to repeat that same thing on your other cardstock. What we want to do now is to create a little tab out of these 2 pieces. So we're going to cut straight up to the first score line that we come across. Okay, so that creates like a little tab. If you want at this point, you could do an angle cut and take that piece out, and also angle cut this side, but we will be doing more angle cuts the more we go into the project. To get the other side, just flip this over and cut straight in. It's nice because then you have this side to lay your scissor against, and then that way you know that it's cutting exactly at the right point. So again, you can do a little angle. Like I said, we're going to be doing more angle cuts in a little bit. Down here at the bottom, let's flip this back over where it's the right side. Angle cut, where our first score line is down at the bottom, just make an angle cut on the edge. Okay, so it looks like that. Repeat that same process on your second one. So I'll just kind of repeat this one with you. We're leaning against the center piece, going in and cutting to the first score line, making a slight angle cut, flipping over. Again, I'm putting my scissors against the center piece and then cutting straight up. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, now we have both our pieces looking the same. At this point, we want to fold on our score lines. So let's take this piece, we're going to fold it over, just like we normally would, and make sure you burnish along the way. Make sure you burnish straight. I kind of like to fold and burnish both ways on the center pieces. Just for flexibility later. As well as the little tab. Okay. And again, you're going to repeat the folding on your second piece. Now, let's fold our pieces in the center. We have these little center pieces. Let's fold those over. So we're just taking our piece, folding it straight over. Okay. And we're going to make like a deep angle cut. On each side. I'm going to flip that over, it's easier for me. So what we end up with is a piece that looks like that. Okay, so we're cutting out these pieces here. So I'll show you that again on this one. I'm just folding this over to where these two pieces meet each other, like that. And I'm making a deep angle cut. There's no particular measurement here. And now my piece looks like this one. With our pieces laying crossways, we want to take this little flap and push it back and add adhesive to the back side of it. We are going to take these two pieces and attach them here in the center. So I'm just lining these up so they'll be straight together. And then I'm going to burnish. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of trimming on our little tabs here. So you'll see this first one, there's excess, so we want to cut that off. So do that on all of our tabs. Okay. With one of our tabs standing up, we want to fold this piece to where this tip bends down and across to here. And we're going to burnish that as well. Let that flip up, it's okay. You just want to bring your point down to the top of this side. Make sure that there's no overage. You want it to be next to the edge there, and burnish. And now what we want to do is to cut off this excess. Okay, let's repeat that over here. So we have our piece up. We're going to bring this tip down to this side and square these up here. Kind of hard to show you. And then cut this excess off. and repeat the process over on our second piece. I should have done these when I hadn't connected them, but it was too late. They were already connected. So you can do this when they're not connected. Okay, I'm taking my point, bringing it down, squaring these sides off. Don't let them go over. Definitely recommend burnishing every time. And then we're going to cut off this excess right here. Okay, with our pieces together and looking like this, and the way that you tell you have it in the right direction is your tab pieces will fold over on top, okay? So if they look like this, where the short tab piece is on the inside, that's incorrect. You want it to be where the short tab pieces are on the outside, on both pieces. Now what we want to do is take a rubber band that is about 2.5 inches long. When you flatten it out like this, we're going to fold these in and bring the rubber band over to where it nestles in this little area where we cut that deep angle. We're going to bring the other side up and bring the rubber band over that, and again bringing it to our deep angled position. At this point, what I do is hold these two together. So I'm bringing these two little deep angled pieces together, holding them down, and then bringing these two deep angled pieces together on the opposite end. Now, so we can continue to work down here, you're going to need something heavy to put on this side. So I'm just using the punch. Now we're going to add adhesive to our two little flaps or tabs that we have here. Add it to both sides at the same time. Now we want to take our two sides and fold them up and over onto this square right here. I got a little gluey. And hold that down. And I like to personally give it a burnish. Now, if you've done everything right, these pieces will align together without any problem. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to slide this down just a little bit. I'm going to fold over these tabs, and we're going to add adhesive to the little tab on both sides. I'm going to take my punch off, and I'm going to take this piece, and I'm just going to lay this over top of those tabs that we just added adhesive to. Again, I like to burnish them. Now, if you bring this up a little bit, you can see it's going to start to make the box, right? But what we need to do to finish the box off is to add adhesive to the outside of this tab. We're going to tuck it inside of this piece, okay? I have adhesive all over my finger, and now it's getting all over my piece. Okay, so let's tuck these in together here. See how they fold in? And then fold it back down to where it's flat. And then again, burnish. Now I'm going to hold this here for just a moment so the adhesive can dry. And when that's dried, you just lift your finger or whatever you have on it off, and our little box or cube pops up. Pretty fun. Now all you need to do is decorate your sides, and to maintain the 1/8 of an inch border, I'm doing 2.5 by 2.5. So do not put decorative paper where we have the folds and you can see the rubber band. You only want to put it on the sides that are solid. And it'll be nice and easy. You'll be able to lay this down by just folding it again. Okay? You'll be unable to fold it the wrong way. So don't worry if you think you're going to fold this down the wrong way, you won't be able to. You'll be able to do it really easily on one side, okay? And then once you have it all into your box and you give it to your recipient, they will open it and our cubes will come flying out. So fun. I can't wait to give this to my niece. I think she's going to love it. So that's the project for today. I hope you enjoyed this. It was super fun to create. It really isn't that difficult once you get the cubes made. That's really where most of your time is spent. To decorate takes really not that much time. Because you want to use flat embellishments. You don't want anything that can come flying off. You don't want to injure anyone. So that's it, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you next time.